Three Republican congressmen calling for Special Counsel Robert Mueller to resign. This is because of what they call, quote, obvious conflict of interest. That being Mueller served as FBI director while then Secretary of State Hillary Clinton oversaw the Uranium One deal. Also, this all unfolding as Special Counsel Mueller reportedly has, quote, enough evidence to file charges against former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, along with his son, also named Michael Flynn. Joining me now, one of those congressmen calling for Mueller's resignation, Arizona Congressman Andy Biggs. Congressman, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Charles. So
this news broke on Friday. It was pretty interesting because it reflected what a lot of people in the public thought for lack of any other term, it was common sense. But to see actually Republican congressmen call for this was really sort of shocking. How likely is it that it will happen, though?
Well, I think there's a significant number of my colleagues who think this should happen, but I think there are also maybe some who don't think this should happen. They want to steady the course. They think Mr. Mueller's a great guy, and I don't know whether he's a great guy or not, but I do know this. There sure is an appearance of conflict, and when there's that kind of appearance of conflict, maybe he should step aside.
Well, I think over the weekend you had Paul Ryan, who said Congress actually pledged that Congress would not interfere with the Mueller Russian probe. Was that sort of a stand-down order to the rest of his colleagues?
Well, I don't know. There are many of us who look at this thing and we say, hey, what happened with Uranium One? They had evidence of extortion, bribes, money laundering. Mr. Mueller was the FBI director at the time. He didn't disclose any of that. Now, I have a problem with that, and now he's the guy investigating everything dealing with Russian interference, and guess what? All that comes back to Mr. Mueller, Mr. Comey, Mr. Rosenstein. All these guys played on the same team for all these years, and now we continue to get leaks like on General Flynn. This is a problem, and it indicates that there's a conflict of interest, and Mr. Mueller should step down. Now, I don't know where the leadership's going to be, but I'm hoping that we can get something done on this, because if you want to investigate this, we've got investigations going on in Congress right now. But we should not have somebody who has at least a bare minimum the appearance of conflict doing this.
And I think I think the White House is in agreement with you on this, and yet you had Senator Corker and I think maybe Graham coming out to, again, circling the wagons around Bob Mueller. And I just find it interesting that some very smart and well-thinking Republicans who say, hey, this is just common sense, the better part of valor, are getting this kind of pushback.
Yeah, I don't understand it, quite frankly, because it isn't just those of us in the Republican conference in the House that are calling upon this. You have people who are investigating this and have been investigating this for years. You've got the Wall Street Journal. You've got people writing in the Hill. They all recognize the same thing we've recognized. I've been calling on this for months, that Mr. Mueller needs to stand down, step aside. Right. And if you want to proceed, then proceed in another way, in another venue, maybe with somebody else. But you can't have the same people that have been working on this for years, that never got to the bottom of this, and actually hid some of this from Congress, it seems to be. You can't let those guys go on, continue to do this ostensible investigation, when it looks like they may have been relying on the Fusion GPS dossier to get warrants against Americans. This is just incredible to me that people are defending this kind of conduct.
It's amazing. Congressman Andy Biggs, maybe as these leaks continue, you'll get more folks who see the light. I appreciate you coming on tonight.
Thanks, Charles. Good to be with you.